So he was not able to get out of that well. He was trying very hard, but unfortunately, he was trapped into the well and he was not able to get out of the well. So, seeing that all the prince, they tried to take him out. So they tried various way to take him out from the well, but they could not able to do that. So they could not able to, unfortunately, they could not able to get the lizard out of that well. So all the prince, they got very disappointed. They returned home. And when they returned home, they narrated this story to Lord Krishna. And as we know that Lord Krishna is a friend of all the living entities. So after hearing that, Lord Krishna himself, he went to that place, he went to that well, and with his hand, he can easily get out of, get the lizard out of that well. So what happened immediately when the Lord touched this lizard? Immediately after the touch of that of Lord's hand, this lizard, he gave up his lizard shape and he was turned into a very beautiful demigod. And his complexion, it was glittering like gold, and he was completely decorated with fine garments, and he was wearing lot of ornaments. So Lord was seeing all this, and he was he inquired that king, that demigod, how he become like this lizard. So as we know that for Lord, it is not any secret. He actually knows everything. But still, for other information, Lord inquired. He inquired with this demigod, ki, I think you are not meant to be in this situation. But then how you converted into a lizard? It must be your some past activities because of which you took this lizard life. So, but still, Lord said, I want to hear from you what has happened. So, if you think it is not a secret, you want to disclose that, then please tell me what has happened in history. So, this large lizard, who was actually a king, he was a king Nṛga, called name Nṛga. So, he immediately actually bowed down to the Lord. He expressed his obeisances. And then he said, you, my dear Lord, I was a king actually. I am the son of King Ishwaku. So I used to do lot of charity. You might have even heard my name. So I used to give so much charity that he used to give lot of cows actually in charity. And you must be knowing it because nothing is actually hidden from you, my lord. So I used to give lot of charity. And now since you have asked me, I will narrate my complete story. And that way, King Nṛga, he started narrating his story. So the history of his degradation. So he told that it has happened because of his karma kanda activities. So as we know, everybody has to face his karmas one or other day in this life or next life. He has to face his karma. So then king said that he used to give lot of charity. And he used to give so many cows that it may be greater than the number of dust particles on the earth. So that much charity he used to give. If you count that, it may be more than the number of stars in the sky. And then he also compared it with the drops of water in the rainfall. So that much amount of cows he used to give it to the brahmanas. So it was so he used to this king he used to follow all the principles, all the regulative principles, right? So as we know that ki if we do some bad karma or if we do some impious activity with some brahmana, so what happened? We have to suffer. And that is how actually he took the birth of this lizard. So generally, whatever karma we do, we have to do it we have to offer it to please Sri Krishna. And to give charity means to perform pious activity by which one may elevate to the higher planet. So it's not that you do any pious activity and which is not for the pleasure of the Lord Krishna and you just assume that I'm doing a pious activity, so I will get a very good result out of it. But we have to, so earlier in our Gita chapters also we have read this that so impious activities, anyway, you have to suffer. But for the pious activity also, one has to be very careful. We have to see that it is only for the pleasure of Lord Krishna. So that way, this king, he has done many pious activities, and because of that, actually, he has become demigod and he went to the higher planets. But he has done something because of which he became a lizard and he fell down. So we have seen that in the Bhagavad Gita earlier that result of whether it is a pious activity or impious activity, a man is surely bind to such activity. So whatever pious activity we do it as a for the discharge, we do it as a discharge as a yagna on the behalf of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this king Nṛga, he said that the cow that he has given for the charity, so he then described uh, those cows were actually not the ordinary cows. Those cows were very young cow. They were very selected, right? And those cows used to give birth only to one calf. And those cows that he used to give as a charity to these brahmanas, those cows were full of milk. And those cows were very peaceful and they were very healthy. And these cows he used to purchase with money which was earned not illegally but very legally. So such cows he used to actually purchase and he used to give donation to the brahmanas. These cows then he used to decorate with the horns of those cows. He used to decorate with gold plates. He used to cover those cows with necklace. And he used to give these cows not to any ordinary people, right? Very selected first class brahmanas he used to give those cows. And he used to decorate those cows with very nice garments and ornaments. So he used to select only those brahmanas who are not actually hankering for money, right? And he these cows were not meant to give it to any kind of Kshatriyas or Vaishyas, right? He used to only give it to this first class Brahmanas. So that is how actually also written in the Vedic um, scriptures. So you have to do austerities and penance by giving it to only to the qualified Brahmanas. So not only that, beside these cows, he also used to give lands. He used to give gold, houses, and horses, even elephants to those Brahmanas. Those who are not married, he used to give wives. He used to give servants, maid servants. The king used to give grains. He used to give utensils. So all kind of house furnitures, chariots. So that was the king Nṛga. He was very kind. He was so kind. And then this king, he also stated that not only he used to give very good gifts to the Brahmanas, but he used to perform many other pious activities. He used to, even dig wells. Then he used to plant trees on the roadsides. Then he used to create ponds. So then that kind of king he was. So even in spite of all this, in spite of giving so many charities, so unfortunately, what happened one day? One of the Brahmanas' cows, which was actually he has given in charity, it has come to his cows. So the king was having many cows and the Brahmanas having their cows. And one day what happened? One of the cow of one Brahmana, it actually entered into the king's palace and it was mixed with one of the king's cows. And unknowingly, what happened? The king again gave that cow as a charity to another Brahman. So this cow was then taken away by this another Brahmana, and this former Brahmana, he actually noticed it that this is his cow, and he started fighting with this Brahmana. So this fight becomes so big, then they both decided they will go to the king and then let the king decide. So both of them, they went to this king in his palace and then they narrated the complete story. So when this both Brahmana went to narrate their stories, the king he was little puzzled. Now what to do? Because both of them, they were not ready to compromise. And then the king actually made one offer. So the king made an offer to both of these Brahmanas and he offered them that I will give you 1 lakh cows in the exchange of this one cow that you have taken. So you please stop the fight and compromise. So this king, he also mentioned these Brahmanas that if you don't actually uh, hear my appeal, then what will happen? The king will have his downfall. Because as we know that if we do any impious activities or if we take any property, a Brahmana's property is called as Brahmasava. And even by mistake, it is actually according to even Manu's laws. You cannot acquire, or even the government cannot acquire any part of the Brahmana's property. So if you do that, then you will fall down. So the king, that is why the king actually he requested. He requested both of the Brahmanas. And these Brahmanas, they were knew this thing very well. But still, they insisted that they want. The second one said he want his cow because that cow, particular cow, was very dear to his wife and family. But the other Brahmana, he was not ready. He was saying, King has given me as a gift, how I can return? I will not return that. So even after offering 1 lakh cow, the exchange offer they made, both of them, they were disagreed. They and they actually returned back. Both the Brahmana left the palace with anger. So the king now he was very much worried because even after doing so many pious activities, by mistake something has happened and he has to face the result. So after that incident, many days passed and the king was about to give up his body. The time has passed and king was about to die. So he has to give up his body and he was taken to Yamraj. So as we know, Yamraj is the superintendent of death. So after death, the person has to be taken to supreme superintendent of death, who is Yamraj. So in Yamlok, where Yamraj was there, he asked this king whether you want to first enjoy your pious activity or you want to suffer the result of your impious activity. So this Yamraj, he knew that this king has done so many pious activities. So that is why the Yamraj, he hinted the king that you have unlimited pious activities. You can choose the result of your pious activity first. It is unlimited, and that way you can enjoy many life, your future life with enjoyment. But the king, despite of that, he actually chose to suffer first with his impious activity. So he told this Yamraj, first you give me the result of my impious activity, and then I will accept the result of my pious activity. So Yamraj said, okay, as you wish. So immediately Yamraj turned him into lizard. And that way this king, he fell into this well. He fell into the well and he have a body of this big lizard. And from a very long time, he was trying to get out of that place. So that way this king narrated Lord Krishna. So in spite of being put me into this degraded condition, I was simply thinking of you. So, my dear Lord, my memory was never vanquished. I was constantly thinking of you. So, the Krishna's conscious person develops love for God, right? So, Krishna, not for uh, you consider any devotee, not for the pious activity or not for the impious activity, he always develop his consciousness for Lord, and that is why he actually um, praise Lord, right? And also in Brahma Samhita, it is stated that a devotee, by the grace of Lord, he is not subjected to the reaction of any kind of fructive activities. So as we see here that even after doing so many pious activity, this king has to suffer. But as a devotee, actually, you are not subjected to get the reaction of your fructive activities. But now, unknowingly also, you see that he has done some impious activity to this brahmanas, and which is very, very dangerous actually. So, somehow or other, as a result of his pious activity, this king, he was aspired to see Lord. And then he said, "Oh, my dear Lord, I had a great desire to see you someday. I personally want to see you someday. And because of this great desire, actually, I am able to see you. So I did so many pious activity thinking that I want to see you someday." So that is how it happened, right? So since he wanted to see Lord and he donated so many cows, he did so many activities. His intention was not to enjoy some heavenly planets or some other enjoyment, but he wanted, his intention was only he wanted to see Lord. And because of this reason, also, he was able to actually remember his past life. So, a person actually who remember his past life is called as Jatismara. So, in modern times, also you can see there are some instances where a small children actually they can recall the details of their past life. If you remember, few days back we have a session with Kittu Prabhu where actually he was interviewed and he remember his past and he detailed about his complete story. So the person who actually remember his past, he is called as Jatismara. So you see this king's intention always he wanted to see Lord. So and when the king, he elected to receive the result of his impious activities, he was given this body of this lizard because of the mistake of his pious activities. Actually, you see this, even he was doing that time pious activities, still he has to suffer. So, how important it is to understand that when we were doing any kind of pious activities also, there can be result of some punishment. And that is how he has taken this body. So by worship of Supreme Lord, those who actually desire material opulences are given the bodies of powerful demigods, right? So if you have the intention uh, where you want to enjoy the material opulences, you will go to the higher planet. You, let's say you're doing the pious activities and you want to go to Swargaloka, or you want to enjoy some material opulences. So Lord will actually send you to the higher planets. And sometimes these demigods can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that too face to face. But we have to remember that still they are not eligible to enter into the spiritual kingdom, which is called as Vaikuntha. So, however, if the demigod continue to be devotee of Lord, the next chance they will get, they will enter into Vaikuntha planet. And then this king said, "O my Supreme Lord, because of you have given me this body of demigod, I will have to go to some heavenly planets. So I am taking this opportunity to beg you for mercy." And I pray that I may have the benediction of never forgetting your lotus feet, no matter which form of life or planet I may get transferred. So we have to remember that though this human life, uh, we are saying there are these four miseries. So we have to always pray, Lord, that even though we get miseries in whatever condition we have, we should not forget Lord. So, Lord, you please give us that pleasure that we will not forget you wherever we are, whether we are suffering in Bhuloka or we go to the higher planet. So that is what actually this king, he actually requested Lord Krishna. So before entering this heavenly planet, this king actually circumambulated the Lord. He touched his lotus feet with his helmet. He bowed down before him, and seeing the airplane from heavenly planet presented before him, and then he took the permission from the Lord and he boarded onto that plane, and after that he actually departed. So Lord Krishna, he actually expressed his appreciation for this king, and then he started telling, you just see how great this king was. And then actually to all the, not only to this prince, he also give this message to all these common people, all the living entities, that he said that you don't think that taking poison is as dangerous as taking Brahmana's property. So he started comparing with uh, taking poison and taking Brahmana's property. So Lord is saying ki this poison can be treated. If you consume the poison, you can be relieved from that poison effect. You can be treated. But once you have taken Brahmana's property, there is no remedy for that mistake. And the perfect example is King Nṛga. So he was very powerful. He has done so many past activities. But because of this small mistake, that too unknowingly, right? So if you see in Shastras, earlier days, Brahmanas, they used to ignite fire, that fire of sacrifices that they used to do, right? So they used to fire not with matchsticks, right? But with their mantras, they used to light they used to ignite that fire. So, however, if Brahmana's property is forcefully taken, the taker of that family, it is said that the 10 generation before and the 10 generation after will be subjected to this kind of punishment. So, if someone becomes a very pure Vaishnava or devotee of Lord, right? So, uh, Lord is actually comparing here. If you take the Brahmana's property, the 10 generation before and 10 generation after, they will suffer. And similarly, if in your family, if somebody becomes a very pure Vaishnava, he's 10 generation before and before his birth and 10 generation after his birth will get liberated. So that much pious activity it is, being a devotee, and impious if you are actually taking a Brahmana's property. So that we have seen that Lord is saying that if you forcefully take that Brahmana's property, so at least 60,000 years you will have a miserable life of an insect. So you have to suffer 60,000 years as a miserable insect in stool. So that much severe punishment Lord has mentioned, and he has said that there is no escape to it. So Lord said, therefore I advise you that even if a Brahmana becomes angry with you and call you by ill names or he curse you, still you should not retaliate. On the contrary, you have to smile. So whatever word he may, the Brahmana may curse you, but you have to smile. You have to tolerate in front of him. You have to offer your respect to Brahmana. So that much powerful a Brahmana is. So Lord says you have to follow this instruction very carefully. So I shall not forgive anyone who does not follow them, and I will punish him. So you should learn from the example of King Nṛga, that even if someone unknowingly take away the property of Brahmana, he will be put into a very miserable life. And that way he actually put this message to all this prince and all the living entity. So thus the Lord Krishna, who is always engaged in purifying the conditioned living entity, gave this instruction for all, not only his family member, but to all the living entity of the Dwarka. And that way, it was spread to all the human society. And after that, the king entered in his palace. So that was the story of King Nṛga. So hope you actually take a lot of lessons from it. So we have to be very careful by doing not only, I mean, impious activities, definitely we have to suffer. Even for the pious activities, even unknowingly, if you are doing something, we have to be very careful. And how we have to treat any Brahmana. And Prabhupada has already mentioned that ki Brahmana is not a title given to anybody. So many people, they say ki I am Brahmana by my surname or my title. By name, someone is not Brahmana. Right? In Kali Yuga, it is said that ki everybody is actually a Shudra, because everybody is doing some or other kind of service, maybe to earn money or to grow his business. So one way, everybody is a Shudra in Kali Yuga. So to titled as Brahmana, one has to fulfill whatever is said in the Shastras. Right? A Brahmanas should not be have a intention to gain something for his self enjoyment or for material benedictions. That is not called as Brahmanas. And for a pure Brahmana, any kind of, but even by mistake, if he consider do some impious activity, may it be unknowingly, we have to suffer 60,000 years. 60,000 years as an insect. That is what Lord is stating here. So we have to be very careful. And the other very important takeaway is that whatever condition we are into, maybe we are suffering from so many diseases, maybe somebody is cursing us or troubling us, but we have to be very humble and we have to build that tolerance. We have to develop that tolerance instead of reacting to it, and constantly remember Lord by thinking that it is some of our past past karma which we are suffering here. So that way, with that, I will end the class here. So Hare Krishna. Anybody want to ask any questions, or
Yeah,
anybody want to
Prabhuji, I
add?
have a question. A very
Yes,
nice class, Prabhuji. Very, I mean, in detail, we came to know of the story of King Nṛga. My
yes, ma'am.
question is, so there are three kinds of activities like pious activities, karma, impious activities, vikarma, and devotional activities, akarma. So in this case, what I understand is King Nṛga did karma only. I mean, in the Brahmana, if at all he would have done a karma for pleasing Krishna, if would have done this, then he might not have got the result reaction of this particular activity.
Yes. Yeah, Mataji, very nice question here. So, see, we even karma. So there are different. We see from the Bhagavad Gita that we have something called as karma, karma, vikarma, right? So, and very clearly it is mentioned in the Shastra that even if you are doing karma, which is very pious, but even unknowingly, if you are uh, doing a very good activity, but if it is going against any Brahmana, if he is unsatisfied, in this case, when we see that this Brahman, he was in anger after the decision, he wanted the same cow. And so, uh, one place that Brahmana, he don't want to give up his cow, and the other side, the Brahmana is saying ki, it is the gift given my king, how I can return it back. And the Shastra says, very clearly says that ki, unknowingly also, if you do pious activity, even then you have to suffer if, in case if it is done against for any kind of any Brahmana. So that is why he has to suffer. But again, uh, if Lord wants, he can actually discount. In this case, we have seen, though this king may have to suffer like 60,000 years, he has to suffer. He, with the touch of Lord's hand, he was liberated. He was taken out from that body, and he came back to the king position. So uh, that is what actually this complete story is about. Don't think that if I am doing pious activities, I am. But if it is unpleasant for any Brahmana, we have to suffer. That is why one has to be very careful while treating with any Brahman. So uh, even for pious activity, one has to suffer. So for the good activities, anyway, he converted back to the king, and he will go to the heavenly planet. And he also asked for uh, not forgetting Lord. So one thing we have to remember from all this, what Lord has said, the thing is, if we forget Lord, then whether we are get into the heavenly planet also, it will be very difficult because we'll fall back again, right? And we don't know, we can fall back to human life or life of a insect, where we have to become a lizard, or we will be any insect into the suffering in the stool. But if even in that condition, if we remember Lord, we can actually go back to the spiritual kingdom. So does that clarify, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, what I'm thinking is if in case if he would have done that pious activity not but for pleasing the Brahmanas but for pleasing Krishna, then that would have become a akarmic activity, and then he would not have to suffer. So I mean, that's what my understanding it. Is it correct?
Yes, yes, Mataji, you are absolutely correct.
Okay.
Akarma, when you are talk, so the king, he never did any kind of vikarma, right? He always did
Mm.
akarma only. But
He
when,
did karma only, right?
yes,
And he did not do devotion. I mean, in this particular incident, he was
correct.
not doing it for pleasing Krishna, but for pleasing the Brahmanas. That
Yes,
is why he got the reaction of it.
yes, yes. So, Mataji, it is like this, ki, you know, when you see a person, he have a gun, he kills somebody, uh, he get a punishment by the law of court, correct? He was hanged, but uh, with the same gun, if a soldier actually kills an enemy, he is not punished. Why is that? Because a law is written clearly. If a soldier kills, he will not be hanged. But if a ordinary person kills, he will be hanged, right? So it is written as a rule book, right? So like that, Lord Krishna has written a rule book for all the living entities. And that rule book says ki even if you do a pious activity, but it is if the Brahmana is not satisfied, he has to suffer that. So the intention of the king is very good here, right? He never did any kind of impious activity in his life. He always remember Krishna. He always give thousands of lakhs of cows as a donation. But still, the Brahmana was unsatisfied. And as per the rule book of Krishna, it is clearly mentioned that Brahmana should not get unsatisfied. So that is why this king has to suffer. He has to suffer, but we have seen that that suffering was very for the short duration. And also, even in that time, he was constantly remembering Krishna. That is why he was able to come back to the higher planet. Otherwise, he has to continue suffering. So we have to remember that when Lord has said, and he has a rule book, it is applicable to everybody, including Lord. We have seen that even when Krishna came here, even he got cursed, right? Because he has written the rule book. So not only every every living entity, even the Lord has to suffer if any violation is done. So even though he has done a karma, good karma, he has to suffer because it is dissatisfied Brahmana. Is that okay, Mataji?
Yes, yes, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji, for the very detailed explanation.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji,
Hare
Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
what suppose if you shout, if you fight in the Gruhastha Parivar, what does it come? It comes under Vikarma?
So, see, you are talking about shouting for something, right? So it again depends for what purpose it is. A person can shout his small children also, right? So it may be for a good purpose. But again, good karma and bad karma is only categorized based on whether it is for the pleasure of Lord, right? Whatever uh, we may think we are doing for something for good, but if it is only um, very specific to material life, then you cannot call it as, though it may be a karma. So again, if you see in the Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly mentioned what is karma. Karma again can be divided into three, right? Akarma, vikarma, and karma,
Sukarma.
right? So, so the thing is, even though it may be a good karma, but it can again have some effect. It can have some effect. And so you cannot actually generalize this. So, but Lord has clearly mentioned this. Whatever is for the pleasure of Lord, it is good karma, right? So you may see sometimes even Prabhupada shouted some of his disciples, or spiritual master is angry with some of his disciple, right? So the whole thing is for what purpose it is. Whether it is for the
Purpose
pleasure
is to
of
say,
God.
purpose is to defend ourselves. Purpose is to explain the other person. See, I'm not wrong. I'm just like you're speaking the truth.
Yes,
Slowly, truth doesn't go into the mind. You have to
yes,
shout. You have
right,
to put your word, defend, like something like defend.
yes, yes,
The other person also knows very well this person is like this, but
right,
still, women world like this. Uh, this happens to Prabhuji.
yes.
So
Yes,
this is not a
Mataji,
problem.
actually, this goes into a very big discussion. Uh, so the thing is, as a devotee, we should not, first of all, we should not shout or try to teach something. So definitely, we have to tell the glories of Lord. That is always that should be the intention. But uh, if some person is not doing something, so it again can be a perspective, right? Because his perspective may be key, whatever he is doing he is correct, but my perspective may be key, he whatever he is doing it is not correct. So you can think it as an example, right? A small kid, he is having some throat pain because of the cold. He is asking for ice cream, but a mother will not give him the ice cream because she knows that it is harmful for the kid. But here the kid is thinking ki, I'm not asking anything wrong, anything bad, but why mother is not giving? So he become angry, correct? But my mother, she knows that ki it is harmful. She is not giving her that. That doesn't mean ki he is bad. But again, the thing is here ki this may be ki if a kid mother is instructing that maybe teaching some lesson, but we have to remember here ki we should not shout anybody just to tell him or to. So if let's say ki you are a devotee, right? If somebody is not chanting or somebody is not following the scripture, you should not shout. You should not punish him. You have to politely tell him. If he understand it, it is well and good that his karma, because of his good karma, he is able to understand. That is why you see that so many people, they could not able to understand the glories of Lord. Why? Because of their karma only. But some people with little, just seeing Lord, they become devotee because of some their past good karma. But that doesn't mean ki we have to punish that person who is not that privileged, who cannot understand that he is doing wrong. But definitely we have to give them direction. But that doesn't mean we have to punish him. That is why you also see that, right? In the in material court of law, there is something called as trial, which the even the person who is not who has done the crime, he is given chance to put forward the evidences saying that he is innocent. So that way, we should not punish. And as a devotee, always we have to maintain that we should not become, uh, even if he is doing wrong, the other person is doing wrong, we have to punish him. Because if we are doing that, that way we are doing bad karma. Because
Thank you, Prabhuji.
person,
Thank you very much.
the
Uh,
other person is again, you remember, he's the part of Paramatma. So we should not We have to guide him, not force him or punish him. So is that okay, Mataji?
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you. Dandavat Pranam. See, what is the lesson today means? However, the other person behaves, to put
Yes.
your point peacefully, slowly, politely.
Yes.
Whether understand or not, again and again you should say.
Yes.
Should not shout, should not
So
fight.
it is completely the other person's intelligence and his past karma which will work. If he's having good past activity done previously, he will come into some or other day, he will come back. Right? Because he is also part of the Paramatma. One day he has to. So the punishment is again to why jailer is punishing the prisoners to correct him, right?
Duty.
So
It's duty.
it is like his duty. So we have to remember that our duty is not to punish the other human being or entity. Our responsibility is just to make him enough, give him enough knowledge if he is going in the wrong path, but not to force him, not to punish him. Right? So the other person he has to, that is why this self-realization, why we say self-realization. Until a person is self-realized, he cannot come into Lord's, he cannot surrender to Lord. A senior devotee, a spiritual master cannot force you to become a devotee of Lord. Ultimately, you have to self-realize and correct yourself. Nobody can force you. That is why you should not force anybody. You have to only give him the correct path. You have to mention him the scripture, the rule book. Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, I have no clarification required. So when you do impious activities to Brahmins, so it was heard that so 10 births before and after, so it will have the impact. So can you please explain before birth 10 how it is going to affect?
Okay, so it is talking about the future, right? So we don't know how many. So you consider like this, ki right now we are suffering, right? Right now we are suffering, maybe because of some. If you go back in your future, in your past, because of some karmas, maybe my family members' karmas, I am suffering, right? So in future, what happens 10 years next? So today, if you see 10 present condition, present condition, you may say ki I am doing so many good activities, why I am suffering, right? So that is because in past something I have done, because or my family member something they have done, because of which I am actually suffering here. So you see that in future it becomes, you can see here, right? The what I'm trying to say here is after 10 years it may become, so this number when you say, it is a number just given by the Lord, but in future today's date will be the past. So that is why it's saying ki the next 10 years and the previous 10 years will suffer, right? So if today I am suffering something, maybe it is past 10 years, some impious activity because of which I am suffering. I'm not sure if you are able to understand what I'm trying.
Yes, Prabhuji. So I thought that whatever
Yes.
it currently you did, that will
Yeah.
affect for
Your
past means
confusion,
how it is.
I can understand your confusion, ki how
Yes,
I
yes.
can go back in 10 years back.
Yes,
Right?
that was the question. Yes,
Ah.
I understood
So,
now. Yes, Prabhuji.
yeah. So but you think from like this, ki after 10 years, today's date will be considered as the past 10 generations. So like that, whatever, even as a devotee, if you become a Vaishnava, your 10 generation in future will take the benefit of this past activity. So after, when you go forward the 10 generation, today's generation will be the past 10 generation, right?
Yes.
So today, if you are actually become a devotee, it must be some past um, generation, some activity, some pious activity. They have, maybe you have done some chanting, or your family member have done some pious activity, served Lord, because of which actually you have become a Vaishnava today. So that is how we have to understand this.
Yeah, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for the clarification. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any other points anybody want to add?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Yes, I would like to add one point. I like this story very much because this highlights an important point which we often miss. We always look at things from a black and white perspective. You see, we say, yeah, I'm doing good activity, I'm doing good karma, I'm doing karma kanda, like that. So here it shows that even if a person is doing charity, he has got good intentions. His intentions were good. He was doing charity only, but still he was suffered. So what it means is there is a higher morality than whatever mundane morality that we perceive, is a powerful point that very clearly comes out of this, that karma kanda is not enough. We have to do Krishna consciousness.
Yes.
Yes, bro. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you. Hare
Yes.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thanks for this addition.
Prabhuji, I have just a doubt. The king may have given charity, but he must have performed a yajna, which is for Vishnu, right?
Yes, Mataji.
Does that come under? Doesn't that come under when you're satisfying Vishnu? Isn't it akarma, Prabhuji?
See, Mataji, everything is for the satisfaction of Vishnu only, right? When we are talking about Lord Krishna, so when we talking about yagna, so yagna is not just lighting fire and chanting some mantra, right? When he
For
is
the
giving, when you are donating cows to a brahmana, or you are donating to Vaishnava, or so everything actually it goes to Vishnu only, Lord Krishna. Whatever you are doing, past activity, it is ultimately goes to whom? To it is going to Lord Vishnu.
Vishnu.
So actually, the that is what Prabhu is also mentioning, right? Karma kanda. So these are our karma kanda, but actually it is for the pleasure of Lord Vishnu.
Yeah, so isn't this, I mean, doesn't this come under Krishna consciousness when you're doing something for Vishnu intentionally?
Yes. Yes, Mataji.
It is karma kanda, but it is not for any fruitive activity. And suppose, like when Krishna was born, Nanda Maharaja donated a lot of cows and all. So that is because Krishna was born, is it Krishna conscious activity? In everybody's house, Krishna is not born. No, suppose a baby is born in somebody's house, and they give donation in the form of cows. What does that become? And when Krishna was born in Nanda's house, Nanda did not know that he was Lord Krishna, or did he knew? No.
Yes, Mataji. So see again, you are mentioning about ki when some birth is happening in some family, right? We are donating
Mm.
something. So
Mm.
that is what a person may donate because of some because he think he may get some material opulence, right? Let's say ki, some people take vows, right? If I have a male child in my family, I will donate 10,000 to this person or this temple or that temple. So the intentions are different here, right, Mataji? It is not for the
No,
pleasure.
without any intentions or without anything expecting anything in return. If you give
Yes,
charity to the brahmanas,
yes.
isn't it like as if you're offering it to Vishnu?
That is what it is, Mataji. So as it
So
is
if it
clearly
is, it
mentioned.
doesn't, it becomes akarma, no?
Yes,
Because you're
Mataji.
not expecting anything in return when you're donating
Yes,
anything.
yes, yes. That is definitely a karma matter. It is
Then
not
this king
ego.
also may have done definitely looking at his what is that intentions and his
Ah,
mindset. It
yes,
looks like as if he has done akarma only. He
yes,
never
yes,
had any expectations.
yes.
Must have
So
not had.
as we know, there is always a condition apply, right? We see nowadays, right? Wherever whatever we purchase, we see a condition apply, a clause. So Lord
Mm-mm.
has given this clause, ki these pious activities, even if it is, so here you see the one Brahmana is dissatisfied, right? The whole intention is
Yeah, yeah.
satisfy this Brahmana. You are doing for the pleasure of Lord. So as you know that, right? Ki if you please a devotee, Lord is more happier, isn't it?
Mm,
You serving Lord directly and you serving a devotee. Why
mm,
serving a devotee is Lord is more happy? Because Lord has stated that, right? Ki if you serve my devotee, I am more happy. So
mm,
like that, Lord has said, Ki ठीक है, you are worshipping me, that's all fine. But if you are dissatisfying a Brahmana, then
mm.
you have to suffer. Correct? So in this case, the king is serving Lord by giving
But
Godan.
in case, okay, this is just a imaginary thing. Had if there was no dissatisfaction among the brahmanas, probably the king would have not received this
Definitely,
curse.
yes. Yes, Mataji.
Okay.
It is
So
the thing. That is
yeah,
the thing. If he was not satisfied at that moment, then there was no point.
dissatisfied.
Yes,
I would still feel see, having received so many cows, I would have given back the cow. Or how does it matter? Why to
yes,
make it a big issue?
yes, yes. So you see here, the Brahmana
The
also was,
king is actually an innocent victim
yes, he was a victim here.
to the ignorance of the brahmanas, I feel.
Yes, yes, exactly, Mataji. So actually,
We
you
have to be
see,
large-hearted and just adjust and move on.
Brahmana was attached to the cow, which he should not, right?
Yeah, so king has become an innocent victim,
Ah,
Prabhuji.
he was innocent victim. That is the reason why Lord himself appeared in front of him. And then Mataji, we have to think like this: ki uh, we may think he was a victim, he was punished, but you see
Mm-hmm.
here, Mataji, ki Lord was with him. So what kind of
Yeah.
life you want? Whether you want to go to a heavenly planet, Swargaloka, and enjoy there, or you want to become a human life and where Lord is with you, you will
Yes.
definitely choose, though you are suffering, but still you want to choose Lord with you, with suffering, right? We have seen
Correct.
Kunti Mataji, Kunti Maharani, we have seen, right? He invited
Mm.
sufferings. He
Yes.
asked Lord to give me more sufferings because that way he will remember Lord. What is the point going to heavenly planet by not remembering Lord? Because that
Yes, Prabhuji.
all pleasure will become temporary.
Yes.
But we are
Lot of
looking for
lessons.
permanent pleasure. We are looking for permanent pleasure, and permanent pleasure is when Lord is with me. So we should not call this as a suffering. Let it make us next verse as
Correct.
a lizard or insect. If we
Mm.
can constantly remember Lord, He will take out. Right?
Yes. Yes, Prabhuji.
Today we are
King
in a
has done the
superior.
right thing.
We today we are in a superior body, right? Human
Yes.
body is superior than insects. But that doesn't mean ki it is great, right?
Yes, anytime we could go down also.
We will fall down if we don't remember Lord.
Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji. Also, we should learn that we should not be fighting for small things. If no, Prabhuji, if I
Yes.
have one cow which is just come by mistake into my gift, I can
Yes.
return it back
Yes. 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 Yeah, that
and
is.
not and create a big drama out of it.
Yes. Yes. That is. We should not have any kind of attachment.
Mm.
Again,
Just be
owning
thankful
that
for
cow is
whatever you
attachment
get.
only.
Yes, Prabhuji. So many lessons to learn from this.
Yes. Yes.
It's a small story, but too many lessons.
Yes. Too many lessons for everybody. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So thank you, Prabhuji and Matajis. Tomorrow we'll join again with another nice pastime. Hare Krishna. Grantaraj Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you
Hare
for
Krishna,
joining.
Prabhu. Dharat Pranams.
Dandavat
Dhanavad
pranam.
pranam.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Dhanavad
Thank you very
Pranam.
much.